gentlemen, we are back with this week's episode of Gazzetta Dello Five. You got myself here, Joel Beya, a present Stephen Howson. Rio, you know what? He's a few personal stuff, but you know what? He said hello and he will try to come in if he can. But we've also got the main man himself, Fabrizio Romano. How you doing, Fabrizio?
Guys,
you okay?
I'm great. Thank you. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Listen, Fabrizio, I know this is the busy end of the year for you, so we got loads of questions. I want to start off looking at the Mo Salah contract situation. Now, is that sorted or not? We know that, AFCON hasn't really gone too well for Egypt so far, but what's the deal over there, man? Like, is he going to come back and sign a new contract with Liverpool now that that's going to be out of the way, or what's going on?
I'm told we're not yet at the final stages. It's not sorted yet. It's not done yet. They need to negotiate. They still need to talk. They still need to meet. So they are in contact, of course, since months. So they're negotiating, they're talking. But at the same point, it's not done. We are not in the final stages of the negotiation. Liverpool know that they need to do it as soon as possible. They can't arrive like May or June with Mo Salah out of contract in June 2023. It will be a big risk, and this is why they are going to meet with his agent again, to negotiate again and again. But as of now, as of today, January, we are not yet to the final stages. So it's taking some time. Mo wants the new contract. He wants to stay. Liverpool want him to stay, but it's economical situation to be fixed in the coming weeks. So they will continue to negotiate in the coming days, but it's not yet at the final stage.
I'm not sure this contract extension feels right for me with what direction I thought Liverpool were trying to go. This sort of mega, I'm not saying Salah doesn't deserve it. I absolutely think he does deserve it. But from a business point of view, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me for Liverpool to extend him probably somewhere in the region of 400 to 500 grand a week is the reported sort of figures. It doesn't make any sense for him to be extended when you could probably get two world-class players. And I can see that decision, whether it's to extend Salah and keep him with what's probably an inevitable drop-off either within or towards the end of this next contract, or try and find a couple of younger players and refresh that squad a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
It's hard because he's the best player in the world at the moment. I see what you're saying, but it's just when the player's in this rich vein of form, it's really difficult.
So he's at the top of it now, right? The only place for him to go now is down.
He's down. I know what you're saying.
I think another problem is to arrive in January, in February, and you still don't have a solution. This is the point. Arriving with Mo Salah out of contract in 2023. And then we also have Sadio Mane, because no one is speaking about him, but we have also Sadio Mane out of contract in June 2023. So they will need to fix both situations, and it's not going to be easy also with Mane, I'm told. So there are two dangerous situations for Liverpool. Mo Salah is the priority, and this is why they're not signing any winger in January, because we had rumors about Luis Diaz from Porto, Rafinha from Leeds, but nothing is going to happen in January because they want to save money for Mo Salah contract.
Man United transfer talks coming in. You've got Zakaria, possibly €6 million, I'm hearing. You've also got Lamptey that's been looked at, McGinn from Villa, Neves. There's a few options there. What's actually going on, Fabrizio?
Lamptey, I think no for January. McGinn is a player they are thinking of for summer, not for January. No way for January, but it depends on the new manager. So for a summer window, it will depend on the new manager, who will be the new manager, what he will decide. So nothing has been started at the moment about talks and these kind of things for him. Talking about Zakaria, is a player I will keep an eye on. So if Man United will decide to jump into an opportunity for the central defensive midfielder, he could be a possibility, because they had a meeting with his agent in December. He had a new agent, changed his agent in November. So in December, they had a meeting with his new agent. Ralph Rangnick knows the player so well. Also, Haidara is a player he likes, but he's worth 45 million. So in January, it's more than difficult. And this is why Zakaria could be a possibility. As you mentioned, he's not extending his contract with Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's prepared to do a new experience. Borussia are prepared to accept money in January to let him go in January. The point is, at the moment, there are no talks between clubs. So Man United are considering him, but at the moment, they have not started any negotiation with Borussia. So let's see if next week Man United will decide to jump into it. Maybe it will depend also on players leaving the club in January, because at the moment, everything is super quiet. But if someone will leave, maybe Zakaria could be a possibility.
Steve, how you feeling, my man? You haven't got that wit that you used to have beforehand. It's all gone down a little bit. What's your thoughts on those selections?
What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the big fella in. Bosch. There we go. Rio's in the mix.
Hello, guys.
The talks of Zakaria, right? There's a reason he's going for 6 mil, and it ain't just because he's at the end of his contract. He ain't an upgrade on McTominay, right? And United fans that want to go out and buy someone just to say that we bought someone, this ain't it. Go and buy someone that improves the first team. You can't just collect shiny things. Rio will tell you, Joe what Zakaria is? Zakaria's Jemba. And why are we buying Jemba again? We bought him twice last time.
Rio, I don't know if you've seen some of the rumors. Obviously, us and Fab are discussing this. We're actually in the Man United section. Zakaria, they're asking for a €6 million price fee. Lamptey, what a player! You saw him again playing for Brighton against Chelsea the other day. He's ready, man. Like, he's ready for a top move for me. Obviously, you got McGinn, Neves, and yeah, it looks. Fab is saying that it looks like Man United are going to be doing a lot of their business in the summer. Am I correct? Or are they trying to bring any of them in for January? Who can they get for January?
I think it will be difficult to bring players in this window. I don't think this window is an easy one. I think Premier League players that know the league have a premium as well. So their price is even bigger. So I think it'll be difficult. The names you mentioned there, I can't see them coming in this window. I'll be very surprised if that does happen. I think Lamptey has shown real good glimpses in his time at Brighton, but he hasn't played consistent football in terms of team selection. He hasn't been in the team for a long periods of time, had big injuries. So I'd like to see him play some more football, if I'm honest. I think he needs that as a young player to continue playing. But the other guys, I'm just not sure. I just don't know what Man United are going to do. I think Man United will let some go more likely than bringing in. I think Lingard will go maybe on loan somewhere at this window, looking likely maybe Newcastle. Martial, saying the rumours are he doesn't want to stay in the Premier League, so going abroad, maybe Sevilla was one of the teams that was mentioned. Juventus, maybe, I don't know. So if I was Newcastle, I'd be going all out to try and get Martial on loan.
I got a couple of questions here, and I'm going to direct half of it at Rio, half of it at Fab, right? So, Rio, have you seen the leak that we got this morning, which is that Ralph Rangnick's not having Aaron Maguire, Wan Bissaka, and Luke Shaw? And what's your thoughts on that? And then I'm going to give the second part to Fabrizio. If that's the case, how easy would they be to get rid of? Rio, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I saw that them tweets. Who is it from? Was it from a really reliable source?
Not necessarily, no, but I feel like there might be something in it still.
Yeah, I mean, if that is the case, everyone's got their own opinion. This is the game of opinions, isn't it, football? So I'll be interested to see what the club would do if Ralph Rangnick had gone in and said 3 of the 4 in the back 4 who start are not good enough for this football club and we need to get rid of them. I'll be interested to see what recruitment and what the people that sign off the checks and the contracts have to say about something like that, because that's a big call. Whether you believe they're good enough or not, to shift your 3 starting out of your 4 back 4 is a huge overhaul.
And your captain.
Pardon? And your captain as well. Yeah. £80 million, £50 million on the right back, 30-something million pounds on your left back. So it's a huge amount of money. So listen, I'll be interested to see what happens. But it's a big call.
Well, let me say one thing.
So yeah, what's the likelihood?
Yes, I want to say that I have nothing confirmed on this story, to be honest. So no one is confirming, also the people close to the players. But I want to say one thing. I won't be surprised, because Ralph Rangnick is that kind of person and manager. When he was in talks to join AC Milan as new manager, to be appointed from AC Milan, it was really one step away. It was like 2 years ago. He was meeting with Paolo Maldini and telling him, okay, we need to get rid of Ibrahimovic and of Simon Kjaer. I want them out of the club. Simon Kjaer and Ibrahimovic, the 2 biggest leaders in the dressing room. And this is why Zvonimir Boban, who was in the club, said, I leave the club. I don't want to work with Rangnick. And he left the club. And Paolo Maldini was not happy with Ralph Rangnick, and everything collapsed. They decided to go through with Stefano Pioli. So I won't be surprised. I'm not saying that it's confirmed, because I have nothing confirmed also on player side, on agent side of the players, so no one knows about this story. But I won't be surprised if Ralph Rangnick is going to push for some big decisions, also big players.
And that's why you are the man, Fabrizio, because you know what, you go with the stories that are actually confirmed, and you know, you're not just chatting rubbish. We appreciate it. Bruno talks as well. I really wanted to quickly touch on that. What's the deal, man?
He's going to extend the contract. It's going to take some time. They're working on this since July, so it's going to be a bit slow because then in the summer they had a lot of business with Varane, Sancho, Ronaldo. Then in the following months with the Ole situation, everything was a bit slow. But he wants to stay. Bruno is happy in Manchester, and they know that they need to do it. So they're negotiating since a long time, and I'm sure that this year, 2022, he will resolve everything. So they're negotiating. They know that they have to do it. So I'm confident on Bruno's side.
I'm going to ask you this one, Fabrizio, because I know Steve, he's thinking Rooney's. Are you thinking that he's definitely going Everton this month?
Listen,
no.
I want to clear it up. I'm with Derby fans. I'm with you. Derby are in trouble at the moment and are being absolutely had off by the Football League, right? So I just want to put it out there. Derby fans, I'm with you, right? And I don't want to see Rooney leave there. I want to see him complete the job, keep you up, see how far up the table he can get you, and then move on. I don't think he should come out of the club right now. I think they'd be in absolute turmoil if he did, even worse than they're currently in. I think that Rooney should get that completed job under his belt because I think the job he's done so far is amazing, but completing the job's a different story, isn't it? Getting it over the line and saying, yeah, did that.
He's done more than he's even expected, though, Steve. So even if he doesn't complete, you can't say it's not completed.
Race ain't over, Joel.
Do you know what I think will happen? I think Wayne Rooney has integrity in terms of trying to fulfil the duty that he has at Derby. I think he will be equally as happy to stay at Derby and complete that job and keep them up, which will be a ridiculous job that he'd have done there, or go to Everton, his boyhood club where he came through and became a professional footballer. Either outcome, I think he'll be happy with. Yes, if he went to Everton, he'd have a little bit of he'd look back and say, you know what, it would have been nice to have stayed and complete that. But football is a very cutthroat and quick game. Everything changes. The landscape changes very quickly. So it's all right people sitting there and saying that fairy tale and that thinking, oh, we should stay there and complete the job. But what if that job doesn't come up? What if they go down and the opportunity to go to Everton never comes around again? What are you saying then, Steve?
Rio.
Doesn't matter.
Loads of time to take that job.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Everyone was saying, oh, Frank Lampard's 37, 38, whatever he is, 40, 43, 44 years old. He's going to be here forever. How many jobs have gone since he lost the Chelsea job and he hasn't got? So it's not forever. This isn't forever. There's people coming on the bandwagon immediately when you get the sack or when you get moved on, and your name can be up in lights one day and down in the dumps the next very quickly.
Well said. Fab, what do you reckon?
They wanted Roberto Martinez. The priority was Roberto Martinez. This is another point. It's not that they said, okay, let's go with Wayne Rooney and our first option is Wayne Rooney. It was not the first option. The first option was Roberto Martinez. That for Belgium is impossible. They want him to continue to the World Cup. So at the moment there is no possibility on that one. For Rooney, let's see what happens. They're in talks with him, with Frank. Let's see what they will decide. It's not an easy situation at Everton. Also because it's really particular that they started the market. They sold Lucas Digne to Aston Villa because Rafa was not happy with him. They signed Mikolenko because Rafa wanted him, and now Rafa is out. So it's really surprising when you do this kind of things in January, It's really surprising. So let's see what they will decide. And they're in conversation moments. So let's see in the coming few days what happens.
Erling Haaland. We don't talk enough about him. We know that there's a big move coming, but, it looks like Borussia Dortmund are now pushing me to make a decision about things, but I just want to play football. I personally see a Man City move at the end of the season. Personally, that's what I think. But I could be wrong. Obviously, you're the main man, Fab. What do you reckon and what have you heard?
About Man City, for sure they're in the race, but it's not super easy because of Mino Raiola's relationship with Guardiola. This is something very important. Remember that Mino Raiola always does business and his best players to clubs and officials of the club where he has a good relationship. And with Pep, the relationships in Barcelona times is not the best one. This is why I think it's not going to be super easy, but for sure Man City are interested in Haaland, same for Real Madrid, same for Barcelona. So it's going to be a super interesting race. And first of all, let's see when Mino will get better, because at the moment he's a bit sick. He's been in hospital last week. So let's give him also some time to recover. And then we will see what they will decide together with Haaland and with his father, because his father is going to be important in this Haaland story. One point I want to say is that I see a tense situation between Borussia Dortmund and Haaland, and a very strange situation with the club, because it seems like the first time, speaking with people around Haaland and Borussia Dortmund, it's the first time that are into the club, they're pushing for him to decide. He wants to play football. He's not caring about the market now. But trust me, he's 100% like this. He's not just saying in the press. The boy wants to play football, wants to score goals, and then in April, in May, to decide about his future. But they are pressing him and pushing him, like saying, okay, we need a decision. What do you want to do? And this is really particular because usually, Rio, you know better than anyone else. Players maybe are speaking, in the press and saying about Real Madrid or Barcelona or clubs or dreaming of the future or speaking of the future. But in this case, we have the sport director pulling into the club speaking about Haaland's future, and he only wants to play football. So it's really strange. They are really tense in Borussia Dortmund about Haaland's situation because of the release clause.
Fabrizio, I understand you're exactly right there. It's normally the player talking about it or the agent talking about it. This time it's the club at Dortmund. But I understand Dortmund's position. They want to know early so they can prepare. They don't want to go into the window and have to scramble and have to rush around and be second to approaching players after other teams approaching players early. I think that's probably one of the big things because it's such a huge move for them. They're going to lose their best player, biggest player, scored a crazy amount of goals. They want to be ready and prepared and have someone lined up immediately when he goes.
When you include the release clause into the contract, I think you have the problem. It's up to you because in this case we have a release clause. So Dortmund are officially not involved in this story because they will receive the money. It's 80 million and it's okay. So for Haaland, if you have a release clause, this is why it's a strange story. It's a strange situation. I'm really curious to see what happens, but I still see Haaland leaving in the summer, to be honest.
If you could pick one club, Fabrizio, and put your hat on one club now where Haaland will end up, where is your money going to be?
I will go on La Liga clubs or Barcelona or Real Madrid, to be honest, because this boy is really attracted by La Liga.
I got a prediction.
Go on.
Mino Raiola, he's going to manufacture it so Mbappe and Haaland become the new Messi and Ronaldo, Barcelona, Real Madrid.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Final topic very quickly. Newcastle, obviously they have Chris Wood in there, Diego Carlos, there's some flirting going on there, obviously Dembele as well. There's a situation with Barcelona. I think the relationship might be done over there. Who are Newcastle getting? They're linked with everyone. I've even seen Origi in the list as well.
They are negotiating with many players, trust me. So they are trying everywhere with many players, with many agents, and this is why we have a lot of rumors, because they're really inquiring with many clubs. For Diego Carlos, they are offering around 30-35 million euros, but Sevilla are never accepting this money. They want more than this. They want around 50. They start from 50, 55. So it's not going to be an easy negotiation because they have an agreement with the player, and this is also what happened with Sven Botman. But Lille are not selling in January. With Diego Carlos, you remember what Sevilla did with Koundé and Chelsea in the summer. They wanted 55 million, and they were not accepting 45. And so the deal collapsed on deadline day. So with negotiating with Sevilla, with Monchi is never easy, but Newcastle will try again because the player wants to go. His salary would be incredible at Newcastle, and this is why he's prepared to go. But it's up to Sevilla. So let's see how the negotiation will continue. They will go for a striker, and they will keep an eye till the last day also on a creative midfielder. And a creative midfielder, and see what happens with potential opportunities, because we mentioned Lingard. Let's see what happens with Van de Beek. They will go for a creative player.
Would there be a clause though if they go down? So for some of these top players, if they get some of these players, what's that going to look like?
Yes, this is always part of the negotiations. For example, they were asking for Duvan Zapata to Atalanta, the Colombia striker, signing him on loan for 5 million euros plus an obligation to buy clothes in case Newcastle will stay in the Premier League for 30 million euros. So in the negotiations with clubs, but also with players, they are including this kind of clauses. Yes.
He's a good player.
Wow. Guys, I think we're done for the week. Thank you very much for joining us. Fabrizio, man, it's a big one next week. So make sure you keep us, hooked up in the group chat, so we can talk to the people here. Rio, thanks for coming on. I know you had some personal stuff going on, but you made it. Appreciate it.
I was doing the baby's nappy, man. So I apologize, guys.
I got the message that it was personal stuff, so I guess that was the personal stuff going on. Steve, thanks for turning up. You've been consistent for like 8 weeks now, loving it. And we'll catch you guys next week. What do you want to say? Go on.
It's slanderous, Joel.
It is.
Listen, I turn up, unlike your football team.
Oh, here we go. All right, cool.
Thanks a lot, Fabrizio.
So, guys, thank you.